Full board is present. Approval of minutes of the 4/10/25 meeting. Motion by Massey, seconded by
Second.
Rodriguez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 3.1 is senior budget transfers. The Senior Department, Mulberry House, respectfully requests the board estimate to approve resolution to accept amendment number 7 for the additional funding of $25,635 from the Orange County Office for the Aging. And also to review and accept amendments and additional requests to include workman's comp certificates and certificate of disability benefits insurance, as well as required documents attached, requesting mayor's signature and required docs. So it'll be authorizing me to sign the documents. Item 2, or Part 2, is authorizing the treasurer to fund the other government aid for outstanding expense of transportation program, to add funding. Is that the same funding? We'll get into it with questions. And request to discuss and approve options for Elizabeth Mushton, recreational leader, yoga instructor, to continue at Mulberry House Senior Center. And item 4 is to request to add Mitch Saylor to a personnel line at the rate of $25 per hour. So let's take them up one by one. The Part 1 is additional funding. That's just an additional, you can come on up to us.
I'll put a motion. You got a motion?
Yeah, motion by
So moved.
Massey, seconded by Rodriguez. So the additional funding is for the transportation,
That's correct.
all right? And then item 2 is asking that funding go into the expense line?
Correct.
No?
Into the government aid line.
What is it?
Correct, to put into the expense line because we still have outstanding payments due to us from December.
So what, is there any cost associated with number 2?
Cost.
You're asking to authorize the treasurer to add the funding. Which funding?
There's additional funding that they're awarding us for the 2024 to 2025.
So you're asking that $25,000 to go into the
Correct,
expense line?
to go into the government aid line.
Is that the correct thing? Okay. Item 3 is the yoga instructor stuff. Raylan, what do you, it's perfect timing, I tried calling you before.
Hi.
When you do the hourly instructors, and I know you have a setup time and a breakdown time, what do you allow?
For setting up and breaking up?
Yes.
Depends on the program. Sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes it's a half an hour. Some of the instructors, it's an hour.
So what is your criteria for it?
It depends on what program it is.
I know,
and then-
but it's, obviously there's a difference between someone that's just walking in the door and doesn't have any setup, and someone who's got to come in and bring in equipment and all types of things. So you don't have any criteria, you just,
Yeah, there's no written criteria. It's like, we have a fitness program. The instructor plans like a dance or a routine or set games, and she preps and has activities that she makes and fitness things she makes, and she plans for that. So she gets like the prep time for that.
So you say about an hour, so a half hour before and a half hour after?
Yes, one of the instructors does get an hour to prep for it, the other program.
What's that particular program for the hour?
It was our fitness, one of our rec fitness instructors. Like our music guy who would prep songs and dances for the kids on Tuesdays. He would get a prep time because he had particular songs and music that I would have to download and prep and get ready.
Thank you.
so Leonora, I think the option is, the preference at least, is to keep them as employees, correct? Then we're not dealing with the insurance because we're having some problems with insurance certificates not being correct. And how long is the class? It's a 50-minute class?
A 45-minute class.
So you got a 45-minute class, and then you're asking for a half an hour of prep, so it'll be half an hour up front and a half hour to break down. So it'll be an hour and 45 minutes.
All right, so we're going to go with proposal 1. We're going
Right.
to keep her as personnel, and then I calculated for the remainder of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be the proposal that at least is recommended. And then item 4 is Mitchell Saylor, would be the same thing. The budget calculates, and you have the budget already for that, or no funding for that?
I believe I should have in my personnel line, I think I budgeted.
So there's nothing
From wiggle room.
requested at this time to add Mitchell Saylor to the funding for Mitchell Saylor. So the only amendment to this we would make would be for Mrs. Mushton was to be a 45-minute class with a half-hour setup and a half-hour breakdown. Correct?
Correct.
All right. So I make a motion that we amend Mrs. Mushton's item 3.
Are we gonna go by 1, 2, and 3, or are we gonna do everything together?
Well, unless anyone wants to break them down.
I don't care.
I just want to, let's amend proposal 3, 3.1 to include 1 hour and 45 minutes. So motion by myself,
Second.
seconded by Massey. All in favor of the motion to amend?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. All right, so does anyone want to vote on them separately or all at once?
Don't matter to me, it's fine. all
Fine
together.
as it is?
Yep.
Okay, motion, so we have a motion, an amended motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you. Item 3.2, authorization to transfer within the DPW budget to cover the cost of vehicles purchased, to transfer from 162200 to the 1490-201 account.
Motion.
Motion by Rodriguez, seconded by Massey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 3.3, authorization to accept $275,000 in Crest through Senator Scufa's office. The grant award for the renovation of the senior center bathroom and purchase and installation of cameras in various locations throughout the city property. The project ID is 28303, and resolution will approve and endorse as mayor as the authorized representative and sole signatory and authorize the treasurer to establish capital lines. Motion by myself,
Second.
second by Massey. I want to thank Senator Scoofus for this grant. It's $250,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3.4, review of the active employee exemption status and salary change per New York State law. Requesting approval of the selected employee's exemption status and salary change. The employees are attached. We did this, I think, last year or the year before, too, correct, when the numbers changed. This is a requirement of the federal government. And the employees that are mentioned, I think it's 4, Caitlin McNamara, Stephanie Caputo, Eileen, not Caputo, it's her maiden name, I'm sorry. Stephanie, what the hell's her last name? Sandy, Stephanie Sandy, and Eileen France, but that's not her name either. What? Eileen Hansen, and who's the other one?
Joe DiStefano.
Yeah. Salinas Rodriguez, correct. So we have 4 employees. It's required by law unless we make them hourly employees. And it's not the desire of the department heads to make them hourly employees because that would kick in overtime rules and not give the flexibility. So the motion's on the floor by myself.
This came from our auditors, or?
This came from HR. It's a requirement we either do hourly or exempt.
Yeah, every year we receive our minimum for salary and our minimum for hourly employees, which we have to post throughout the city. And so based on the employee's exemption status, meaning they're non-exempt or exempt, we have to meet the minimum requirement. So this review is to clarify the 4 people, whether they're fall under non-exempt or exempt. And after carefully reviewing, they do qualify for exempt, which means we have to increase their salary to meet the minimum salary. For this year is about $60,000.
And if,
Part of the criteria is, for example, they're getting called on weekends, they're working after hours, telephone calls. If they were hourly employees, they would be entitled to overtime for those phone calls and hourly and
so this takes them from hourly to salary.
salary, correct.
Correct.
They
And
have benefits and all that stuff too?
Yep. The
Yes.
regular, just like any other exempt employee in the city.
right, and they're also part of their job is supervision, which
So it
is
saves
part
us
of
on
the test.
overtime.
Should.
Should.
We know what our fixed costs are, put it that way.
That's good.
But, for example, summertime, Salinas is part of the weekend programs. And if we had to have her come in on overtime on Saturdays and Sundays throughout the summer, it would be cost prohibitive. The same thing with the Paramount, which shows on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. That would all be overtime. So we feel it's the best route to go. We did it with at least 3 of them last time. There's 1 new exempt employee in this group, which would be Salinas. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 3.5, authorization for the sale of 404 North Street. We have at least 2 people who are interested that have sent in letters. So my recommendation is that we do a request for proposal for it. So I don't know if we need a resolution to do that or not. Do you think we do?
No.
No? Okay. So we'll just leave it on the agenda we'll direct the Office of Economic Development to prepare a request for proposals to sell 404 North Street. And just clarify with DPW that there's no use for it through, it's a vacant lot from a fire though, so there should be no
The house is
easements there.
condemned.
The house is torn down, but I mean, there should be no sewer or water line easements through there. All right, item 3.6, authorization to approve the final budget overdrafts attached. Concurs with the Board of Estimate and Proportionment, or authorizes the treasurer to transfer within the citywide budget the list of overdrafts for the fiscal year '24. And just keep in mind, Leonora, your preliminary numbers that we ended up with a budget surplus of about 1.6 million, is that correct?
Thank God Jacob's not here.
Yes, for the general fund.
Yeah, and you
That's
didn't tell
what
Jacob
I'm,
that, right?
Yeah, just going to
No.
say, good thing Jacob's not here.
No, we're not telling Jacob.
Yeah, all right, good, good. All right, so that's a good job, so thank you so much.
So this is all budget neutral. There's nothing that's impacting the fund balance.
Nothing, correct. Okay, motion by
Oh,
Massey.
Massey, seconded by Rodriguez. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3.7, authorization to approve the proposal to fund and commence the Indigo Source Water Feasibility Study. This is in partnership with Orange County and the Orange County IDA. Total cost is $714,000, $100,000 from the city, $100,000 from the county, and $514,215 from the Orange County IDA. This has been well publicized. I think most people are aware of what's going on here. This is the Indigo, and we're looking for a fund balance transfer for water fund, not general fund, water fund balance to Indigo Source Water Feasibility Study of $100,000. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Seconded by Massey. Any questions or comments?
Nope. Indigo is spelled with a T at the end?
Yes. Some people pronounce it indigot.
Yeah. First time I've seen that.
Okay, all in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we move on to adjustments. 10 William Street is a water and sewer adjustment. It's 2 leak letters were sent in October and 1 in December. There was an intermittent leak. Gitsi Loeffler from Silver Key Management is making the request. I thought I saw a note here that they used an unlicensed plumber, but maybe not.
Oh, it's right here. Plumber received attached, not certified in the city of Middletown.
That's right.
Leak wasn't fixed until January?
It was fixed, his December bill was way up there. How many family is it? Does it say? It says multifamily.
Multifamily, valid rental permit.
Yeah. I just find it hard to believe that going back early in '24, they're only using 5,000 gallons. Send this back to
Yeah.
them for a meter check. That might be just a catch-up on the meter. And he also has an issue with the unlicensed plumber, so.
Table?
Table, motion to table.
So moved.
18 Woodrose Court. Plumber's receipt is attached. She had some financial trouble, could not get a plumber at first.
Steve Dodd.
Steve Dodd Plumbing, corrected. Her usage going back was about 25 to 30,000 gallons, and she had 2 periods of 40 and 60, or 3 periods, 40 and 60. So you want to reduce it down to, reduce it by 40,000 gallons?
Sure.
Motion to reduce by 40,000 gallons,
Second.
seconded by Rodriguez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And 1 Casey Lane, reduction as a determinant, there were 2 toilet leaks and a letter. Sheridan and Clarissa Sancho, 16 Casey Lane. There's a receipt attached for the repairs. Looks like it's the 1 period of 51,000, or average, about, before that was about 20,000. So motion to reduce to 20,000, 22,000.
Second.
Motion to reduce to 22,000, seconded by Rodriguez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right.